What you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Hey everybody, I'm Amy Chang, a nurse, a mom, and a health coach, and this is Healthy AF, where honesty and humor and heart meet real talk about feeling good again, inside and out. We're cutting through the noise, dropping the guilt, and reminding you getting healthy isn't about perfection. It's about choosing yourself, one loving decision at a time. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Healthy AF. My name is Amy Chang, and I'm a health coach here with Healthy Life Health and Wellness Coaching. It is April, and the theme for the month of April is spirituality. I chose this theme because I see how spirituality in our overall lives, our overall mood, our level of happiness, and frankly, our ability to grow and shift our behavioral patterns is so important. And it seems like a lot of times we don't really think about that, and we certainly don't talk about it a lot. And so I really wanted to spend the whole month talking about spirituality. And then I got stumped. I've spent the whole month thinking, the whole month of March, thinking about how I'm going to weave in for the whole month of April, spirituality. And just like all things spiritual that flow, the ideas flowed when it was appropriate for them to flow and not 1 minute before. So we're going to spend the next few weeks dropping down into spirituality. How do we use it? When do we know we have it? How is it actually impacting our behavioral changes and our resilience? So this is just, as always, your first week in April, just a little teaser point. I'll give you the specific topics we're going to talk about in the coming weeks. And I'll also give you a couple of coaching questions so that you can really begin to use this first week to explore your own spirituality. If you are a follower of the Christian faith, you know that this week for us is Holy Week, which means there are a lot of opportunities to prepare for and celebrate the coming of Easter. I love thinking of spirituality in this lens. There are two massive seasons in the Christian calendar, one being Easter and one being Christmas. Or if you really are in those calendars, one being Lent and one being Advent, which are the seasons before Easter Day and Christmas Day. So why bring up the Christian calendar? Because the seasons of Advent and Lent are seasons of preparing. We're preparing for something to occur. In my job as a behavioral change coach, if we don't prepare, we're not making sustainable changes. So when I think about spirituality, Advent lasts a lot longer than Christmas, and Lent lasts a lot longer than Easter. I think if we're not preparing well, we won't get to the result we want. And that's where spirituality comes in for me. We're going to talk next week about the practicality of how many shifts you need to make to do one behavioral change. Had a great conversation with a client the other day who's making one behavioral change. And when we broke it down, it's actually a lot more shifts. And there's a lot more energy in what seems like, it's just one shift. No, it's about 14 other different shifts pulled in, and how spirituality can support her in that. And then we're going to talk about practicing spirituality. How many of us, this is your first coaching question, how many of us practice our spirituality? Is it only on Sunday? Is it possibly only on Easter? Is it only when you think you have failed a test? or when you really need some money because your finances are in the toilet. So we're going to talk about that and talk about the practice of spirituality. And then I had a conversation with a friend actually just this morning, and she mentioned something that was kind of fun. She said, yeah, this conversation has been such a God cookie. And I was like, what? A God cookie? And she was like, yeah, it's just something like really small, but it impacts your whole day. My mind was blown. I love that. So we're going to talk about those God cookies or God winks. And if you're not down with God, that's okay. Spirituality doesn't really have a religion. Spirituality is that feeling of connectedness, that feeling of being part of something bigger. And how do we use that specifically to fortify our lives and our behaviors? So here's a few coaching questions I want to just leave you with in this very short little initial Welcome to April podcast. Where do you find your spirituality? Where do you access it during your life? How in the past has it worked for you or not worked? And what major yeah buts do you have about spirituality? The yeah buts are like, yeah, but that wouldn't work because of, or yeah, but I've seen it, blah, blah, blah. What are your major yeah buts? Get clear on that. And I will see you next week when we dive in to behavioral change and how your spirituality can support you through that on Healthy AF. See you then. Thanks for hanging out with me today on Healthy AF. I hope something you heard helps you take one small, kind step toward your healthiest self. If you love this episode, hit subscribe so you never miss a conversation. And if you want more support, head over to myhealthylife.coach to connect with me. Remember, you don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to start choosing you. See you next time.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.